Get my stuff here. Last week we talked about the great fisherman, and that 2/3, thank you, not quite 2/3, but over half of the people that God called to himself. By God, I mean Jesus. He called. He didn't just wait for a volunteer. He didn't wait for people to say, I want to be mentored by you. He went and he picked them one by one, some 2 by 2. But over the half mark were fishermen, because they knew how to gather and bring in. Gather and bring in. And so talked about casting nets when you want to get a whole bunch of fish. And we talked about when you cast a line when you're after a particular fish. Are the papers here, Diane? Yes? Okay, who has them? They're in the baskets. Gentlemen, would you please hand the papers out? Because you're going to, everyone get a pencil or a pen, or you want to use a magic marker, sure, so you can see it and not have to worry about your glasses. But we talked about that we're called to fish. We're called to fish. We're called to go where the fish are at. We're called to use the right bait. Every one of you has some good bait, just different bait. So you need to write some things down. So got you little papers. Are you ready? So I'm going to do a little fishing right now. Ready? Are you ready? Does everyone have paper? Ushers? Anybody else? All right, question number 1. So today, let's talk about superheroes. There's a big deal about superheroes right now. Doesn't matter if they're cartoons or Legos, or the Lego thing drives me nuts. I'm like, just play with the Legos. I don't want to watch a Lego. Never mind. Anyway, so the first thing I need to ask you, though, is what you're identifying with. So we're talking about superheroes, and so you answer the questions, how it correlates to you. Does that make sense? So who's your favorite superhero? Who's your favorite superhero? You know, it doesn't have to be, I might like Superman more than Wonder Woman or Storm, or it doesn't matter. But write down your favorite superhero. Hopefully that's not too hard. All right, you want me to give you some, let's see. There's Green Arrow, there's Hawkman, there's Hulk, there's Iceman, the Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Mr. Incredible, Mr. Fantastic, The Flash, yes, sure, there's bunches of them. We've got bunches of them listed here, just tons of them. Vision, that's a good one. Vision, that's a good one. Wasp, the Wolverine, Wonder Woman. Okay, does that help you out? Anybody there? Good. Number 2. If you had a superpower, what would it be? It doesn't have to be one of theirs, but if you had a superpower, what would it be? I loved it when Superman, was it Superman? Or was it the little Spidey guy? Anyway, one of them asked Batman, so what's your superpower? And he said, money. Money. I kind of laughed. I went, well, that's limited. Okay, interesting. All right, have you got your superpower? All right. Now let me ask you your input or your opinion. And I want you to know, a lot of times people, when they say to someone else, you're opinionated, I don't think they understand the insult that can be, because opinions are usually not based on fact, but on fiction. So, but in this case, just for your, because no one else is going to see it but you, why do you think there's such a fascination with superheroes right now? Why do you think there's such a fascination with superheroes right now? Now, don't write an essay. Don't write an essay. When Jesus went around and he called his disciples, first thing he did when he came out of the wilderness was assemble his team. First thing he did. And he called them. They immediately, it says immediately, when you study it in the Greek, means there was huge urgency in it. They immediately dropped their nets, left their boats, left their family, and followed him. Those are real conversions. Real conversions. I remember days like that. All right, did you have enough time to write down? All right, and we're going to talk about some common ground here. So does anyone want to share who their superhero? Because today is very interactive. Yours? Wonder Woman? Huh? Storm. Oh, you like storms, do you? Wolverine? I could see your hair going funky like that. Yeah, I could see that. Rogue. I could see that too. Iron Man. You like the suit. You probably like muscle cars too. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? The Thing. The Thing. Okay. Sarah. What? Spider-Man? I think he's cute, but I don't like spiders. It's just something I have. I do. I think he's real cute. The new little Spider-Man's cute. What? The sticky web stuff. Well, they don't waddle like a regular bug. They're creepy. Sure. Supermom. I know lots of super moms. I don't think that's making one up. Yeah, I can agree with that. Being pulled in every direction. Okay, so what would your superpower be if you could have one? Healing. That's yours. Good. Healing. Transforming. Oh, you want to be a shapeshifter. Stretch. Super strength. Oh, super strength. All right. Okay. Transport anywhere. Translation. Okay. Money. It's pretty cold. Anything else? Truth? Oh, you want one of the lassos. It was interesting because the new Wonder Woman, she even uses it as a weapon, not just for the truth thing, where the old Wonder Woman, it was just for the truth. So that was really pretty good. That's fun. So why do you think there's such a fascination right now? People need help. Identity crisis. Ooh, these are good. Identify with something special. Somebody, somebody to take. A fixer. That's good. A fixer. To balance out the evil. This is excellent. People need a hero. Yes, people need a hero. All right? We're going to talk about superheroes for a little bit. The next question would be, what would they all have in common? And we're going to talk about that right quick. It's interesting. that when you watch these shows, because, you know, the kids, and Chuck always went, as soon as, I mean, Matt took the kids out of school, and every night before the newest movie, they watched all the other ones in order, so when they went into the next movie, they had all their details straight so they could try to figure the thing out, how it was going to resolve. Because they've been stringing us along. Is anybody else? Okay, I'm just going to have some fun today. But I know I'm kind of low-key, but we'll have fun. We'll get there. But anyway, Caleb and Ron, Kimmy, took me to the Batman, Superman thing. And here's two superheroes fighting each other. Two good guys fighting each other. And I turned down the row and I went, this is wrong. This is just flat wrong. I don't want to pay money for wrong. I mean, I even bought one of those bladder busters because, you know, I didn't want to leave. You know, I wanted to keep going and stay awake. But they, you know, and it's like, and then when it ended, there was no ending. It was next year. Maybe you'll know what's going to happen. What kind of a deal is that? I like my superhero. He lets me know how the end's going to be. That's going to take care of it. So we're going to talk about what some of these guys have in common. And the first thing is all of them are servants. Every single one of them wants to serve. Every single one of them. When Jesus went out and he called, his 12, he knew they were hard workers. Let me tell you, people, ministry is not glamorous. There is nothing about it. And when I'm out there in the thing and I'm using the jackhammer and I'm getting this concrete out that the guys just kind of let overflow, nothing worse than overflow concrete. And I'm running this jackhammer and I'm getting blisters and my head is shaking like crazy even when I turn it off. And I'm going, yeah, this is glamorous. Sweat pours down my head, gets on the end of my nose and kind of, like Rosanna Dana. Some of you are way too young to know who that is. Okay. I know, you have no idea, but it's a classic. All right. And so, anyway, there are so many times we come in to do ministry, and it is not all glamorous. It's messy. It's hard work. It's labor. It's labor. Birthing is labor. How many have been in labor? How many have worked hard to labor? I was at a pastor's conference one time, and the guys were going, oh, the church has been short of money, so I've had to go get a few extra little side jobs. I'll never forget this. And when this one guy goes, man, your labor's hard. And I went, oh my goodness. See, I told you before, God looks at you and goes, are we going to build something, or you want me to just hand it all to you? Every single one of his heroes, every single one, worked hard. Moses worked hard. Abraham worked hard. There's some other times they made some bad mistakes. Have we all? Yes. So we can all identify. Joseph made some bad mistakes, but he kept serving. He kept serving. Mark 10, that's probably our most important scripture for the day. Jesus calling, we'll start verse 42, Mark 10, verse 42. Calling them to himself, Jesus said to them. So, here we are. I'll give you a little background. Here we are. It's getting close to where Jesus has to really work. He's going to work so hard, sweat's going to come through his skin. Blood's going to come instead of sweat. I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. It's not a good thing. And so he's calling them because all of a sudden the disciples got in an argument. They were all trying to decide who's the greatest of each one of them. Here they were accomplished in their own area. Even the one that was the tax collector, he was the best tax collector. You hear what I'm saying? Which is interesting to me. Why didn't he run the money instead of Judas? But then again, I digress. True, huh? But anyway, it's interesting. Here they're all arguing, and they were successful in their own area. But when it came to being a team, sometimes it's hard to be a team. And so anyhow, they were getting together, and Jesus was like, I better deal with this. So Jesus, calling them to himself, Jesus said to them, you know that those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them. I'm better than you are. I have more things than you. People, listen to me. Yeah, I got quiet there. You know that those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them. But it is not this way among you. This includes us. For whoever wishes to become great among you, they shall be a servant. And whoever wishes to be first among you shall be slave of you all. It's interesting. They put on our doors, you know, so people know your offices and stuff. Pastor Chuck Green, you know, Evangelist Cliff Johnson, whatever it is. But quite frankly, they shouldn't put, I'm just telling you the truth, it shouldn't say Pastor Chuck Green, it should say servant of all, Chuck Green. Everybody gets this idea, oh, the higher you go, the less you have to do. It's just the opposite. It's an upside down pyramid. All right? All this weight is on you. And so we'll see some of that in today's clips. But it's interesting because they are all servants, and they were all handpicked, just like Jesus. It was interesting. Let's go ahead and show the first video, Kevin. We're going to have just a little bit of fun. The doctor knew he had to pick the right man for his experiment, or he knew what happened. He didn't need a superhero or a super villain. He needed a superhero. Does that make sense?
When you brought a 90-pound asthmatic onto my army base,
there's the doctor.
I let it slide. I thought, what the hell? Maybe it'd be useful to you, like a gerbil.
I love Stanley Tucci.
Look at that. He's making me cry. Hodge passed every test we gave him. He's big, he's fast, he obeys orders, he's a soldier.
He's a bully.
You don't win wars with niceness, Doctor. You win wars with guts. Grenade! Oh, get away! Get back!
It's a dummy grenade.
Is this a test?
He's still skinny.
But the doctor knew. It's interesting. What had to be in there that had to be magnified. I don't know what you all have been hiding inside, but whatever needs to come out, it's going to be magnified, good or bad. Good or bad. And the more you hold it, the more the law of suppression makes it so it will just explode. The second thing, that, oh, by the way, that was Captain America. Yes. Captain America. Yep. Point 2. So the next thing we could put on there is they use their gifts for good. And see, when we go back to Mark 10 again, it says, well, the Gentiles, they lord over with whatever the gift is. They use their gifts for good. My question to you is, are you even using your gifts? Much less are you using them for good? Because if you're not using them, there's no sense in determining the rest. If you have gifts and you're not, how many said healing? They want a super thing to be healing. How many of you said it? Raise your hands. No. I mean, how many of you said, I would like to have healing? How many are even praying for healing? Well, it's not going to happen. Well, seriously, you have to use your gifts for good. How many of you, when you go through the grocery store and all of a sudden you see someone in a wheelchair and your heart just aches and all of a sudden you just want to go over and lay hands on them? Who is that? Who is it? You do? Who else? Who? Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? Seriously. What are we afraid of? I know, it's a strange world right now. Social correctness and all that junk is just like, oh. But I'm telling you what, it's amazing when just you go over and say, I bless you, brother. I don't have to go, watch out, the healing power of God is going to come upon me. Where's an usher? Get one of those men that cleans up the aisles. And I need him over here. Nobody said we're supposed to be crazy. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. They do the crazy stuff. All we have to do is say, bless you, brother. I bless your day. I bless your body. I bless your family. I bless your finances. What about that, Caleb? You want your superpower to be money? How many people are you blessing with finances? How many? Seriously, if we have a connection to it, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. God's not going to make you do something that's not a desire inside of you. I mean, how silly is that? God is really smart, and so he does it. So I tell you what, it's so nice too. When you're in a movie, I'm going to play one of Chuck's favorite clips here in a minute. When you're in a movie and the bad guy gets, you know what's amazing to me? It's always amazing when you're in an audience where the bad guy gets, and people don't even do anything. And going, hey, are you all asleep? I love it, when I can go to a movie with the little kids, yeah, get him again. We went to see Air Force One. I was sitting next to, Marty was close, and Tim Ellsworth was close, and so all of a sudden this is one part where Harrison Ford got a hold of a gun, and he shot I said, shoot him and shoot him again. And Tim goes, that's not very Christian-like. And I said, do you want to live or die? Choose this day. That's Bible. To defeat, I said, if he doesn't shoot him now, he's going to come back on him. And went, and later in the movie, guess what? I'm going, So, the president then was not a superhero. So, this is one of Chuck's favorite ones. You want to play this one, Kevin, for us? For this purpose was the Son of God manifest to destroy the works of the evil one. We like it when good wins. Amen? Don't you feel right?
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny God.
Don't you just feel right when good wins? That's really the whole Bible. That God loves us so much, he wants us to win, and righteousness. It's interesting. Chuck keeps calling me on the phone. He goes, Debra. And I'm going, yeah, babe. He goes, righteousness shall prevail. Then he hangs up. Okay, baby. Pretty soon the phone rings. Debra. I said, what? He goes, righteousness shall prevail. And I'm going, Hangs up the phone. Then pretty soon he calls again. Debra! And I said, what? Righteousness shall prevail! I'm going, mm-hmm. And I said, preach it, baby. You just keep preaching that. It's coming out every which way. That's the way it is. Jesus knew his purpose. You know, it's interesting. Some of you said people are fascinated with superheroes because they're looking for their destiny. Yeah. They're trying to find something they can identify with, some of you said. Yes? Uh-huh. And you're trying to find something good to identify with. I remember one time we went, this is for Caleb because he said he wants his super thing to be money. We went to a family dinner. It was a big deal. Big, I mean, all the family was there. All sorts of family from all over. Big deal. And all of a sudden Chuck slipped away. I don't know, where'd he go? Where'd he go? And he came back and I said, what did you do? I mean, when you know your man, you know your man. I said, what did you do? What do you mean? What did I do? I said, no. Don't try to slip this off on me. I'm the original questioner. I said, what did you do? And he said, well, they're all having trouble and struggle and stuff. And I said, you paid for everybody's meal, didn't you? He goes, yeah. And he said, and so anyhow, I said, you feel good, don't you? He said, yeah. Yeah, I feel real good helping somebody else. So I went over to one of the younger ones in the family. A bunch of the guys were sitting there joking around. So I said, are you paying for your bill? Have you looked at the bill? And the young guys are like, they're all 20-year-olds. They're all going, no. I said, why not? You ate more than anybody else. Why didn't you look at the bill? You ate a lot. You should contribute. And I said, and they were like, and all of a sudden I said, oh, you're counting on your daddy to take care of this? Well, yeah, my dad usually takes care of. And I'm going, don't you ever aspire for the moment when you can walk in the room and pay for everybody's stuff and walk out? Flash the cash. I like Flash. He's kind of funny. Okay. I think I like Dash better than Flash, though. Because Dash has got a little, he's a kid. I like Dash. So anyhow, we need to know our purpose and what we're gravitating to. You all have goodness in you. You all have goodness in you. What is it you want to do? What needs to come out? What needs to come out? Do we have to get you angry like the Hulk? Really? Is that what it's going to take? I mean, because I know lots of churches where that's what they do. They have to get the people mad enough before they finally do something. Well, I'll let you think about that one for a minute. Point 3, others are more important to them than self. There's not a narcissist in them at all. They're always counting on somebody else. Play the next clip, would you? This is, and dramatically, when you go to all this stuff, that doesn't look right, but okay.
Very little at this point. According to government officials I've spoken to,
Yeah,
visitors do not represent a threat, despite the ominous tone of their message. Then, of course, there's the question on everyone's mind. Who is this
Turn
guy?
it up, Greg.
Does he actually exist? How could he remain hidden for so long?
Come on, Kent. Come on, fight back! Get up, Kent. So is that it?
Superheroes
Is that all
don't
you
like bullies.
Come on, Kent. Come on!
they hurt you?
You know they can't.
That's not what I meant. I meant, are you all right?
I wanted to hit that kid. I wanted to hit him so bad.
I know you did. I mean, part of me even wanted you to, but then what? Make you feel any better? You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because whoever that man is, good character or bad, he's going to change the world.
What's on your mind?
I don't know where to start.
Wherever you want.
That ship that appeared last night, I'm the one they're looking for.
Do you know why they want you?
No, but this general's odd. Even if I surrender, there's no guarantee he'll keep his word. But if there's a chance I can save Earth by turning myself in, shouldn't I take it?
What does your gut tell you?
Zod can't be trusted. The problem is, I'm not sure the people of Earth can be either.
Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith first. The trust part comes later.
So, superheroes choose others over themselves. That's probably one of the best piece of symbolism, because here is Clark Kent, which is Superman, talking about yielding his life for the earth, the world, while behind him is a picture of Christ in the garden praying to his Father, who did do it. Superman didn't do it. Jesus did it. Jesus is the one who... there was a really cool picture that Earl sent, and it's Jesus sitting among the superheroes. And it's cute because Spidey's upside down. Spidey-Man is upside down. And he said, and that's how I saved the world. And they were all listening to him. It was awesome. You know, I couldn't find it on the internet. But anyway, it's like they care about others. So their gifts, it doesn't matter. It's like, this is just something I have. I mean, here he is as a kid, and he squishes the bar, and he wants to do something bad with it. He wants to let the gift out, but there's really no need for it then. Now there's a need for it. I'm here today to tell you there's a need. God's woken me up all week long. And you guys are going to hear it, because I'm not taking another week of waking up. Because he has a word. So they choose others over self. Have we got this? They're servants. Can you do number one? They use their gifts for good. Number two. Can you do number two? Number three, they choose others over self. Can you do that? Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more. Do Wonder Woman right now. I like this one. Get a lady in here. Right before this, she said, but you don't understand, there's children there.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
That's the shorter one. I like the other one too. That one has, I don't know, a little writing on it. But they call that no man's land, and it's interesting because nobody has been able to cross it in a long time, if you've watched the movie. And they've been in a stalemate. They've been stuck. Anybody here stuck? Anybody here stuck? Something's stuck. Somewhere along the line, there's got to be something that is the catalyst that causes you to move forward and to break through. Oh, man. I love it when a woman will get the men stirred up. I think that's wonderful. I can show that to you in the Word if you want to see it too, which is interesting. It's interesting too, she was fighting Nazis. Did anybody notice that? Nazis? You know what Nazis are? National Socialists. That's what Nazi means. National Socialists. National Socialist Party. National Socialists. We have a socialist party right now in America. We have a nationalist right now in America, and we need to deal with that. Point number 4, they work with the team for the greater good. They work for the team for the greater good. Now, it's interesting, and they utilize each other's gifts. It's like when Iron Man needs this, then this guy shows up. If the Arrow guy does this, then he shows up. Okay? So anyhow, they have to learn to work as a team. And God said, Debra, you need to say something specifically in church. And I went, okay. So one of the words God gave me this week was, you can be working and putting a team together. That's the first thing Jesus did when he came out of the wilderness. When they came out of the wilderness. All right? And he assembled a team. And then he trained them to be a team. But it only took one to ruin the team. And so I said, God, what are you trying to tell me? And he said, you know what? If you have someone on your team, not a traitor, he said, everyone's looking for traitors. And I went, all right, looking for traitors, looking for traitors. And so anyhow, God said, you don't need a traitor. You can have a pretty decent team, but if there's one of them in there that's passive-aggressive, passive-aggressive, oh no, I know better. I know what we said in team meeting, but I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to pull out from the rest of them. You didn't hurt just your own self. You hurt the whole team. You hurt the whole cause. See, they see something greater than themselves in this. They see something greater than this. All right? So we have 2 clips here we can watch. You can't utilize each other's gifts if you don't know what they are. So if you're not letting them out and people don't know, at the end of that one movie, all of a sudden this one found Aquaman. They said, oh look, there's another one of us. Aquaman. Here's another one of us. It's this guy. Iron Man found Spider-Man, and Batman was busy finding Wonder Woman and trying to find the right tribe, trying to find the right team. One person can screw up your team. It only took one to mess up heaven. God's looking, he's forming teams to do certain things right now in his kingdom. And that means we're going to have to put self aside and get rid of those thoughts of, well, I know better, or I'm older, or I know this, or I know that, or I'm used to just doing things on my own. You're going to have to get rid of that, or you're going to be left behind by any team. Does that make sense? Go ahead, play the next one.
All right, listen up. Until we can close that portal, our priority is containment. Barton, I want you on that roof, eyes on everything, call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back or you turn it to ash.
Can you give me a lift?
Right. Better clench up, Legolas.
Thor, you gotta try and bottleneck that portal. Slow him down. You got the lightning. Light the bastards up. You and me, we stay here on the ground. We keep the fighting here. And Hulk. Smash.
Okay, did you know? Okay, so it was interesting. Those were all leaders. They were all leaders. But they let the captain take over as leader. And they didn't question. They didn't even, you know, later on we find out Iron Man and Captain America go toe to toe. Right? And so it's amazing all the way around that they get along fine in the midst of the brouhaha. But when things get a little bit slower, all of a sudden, well, I contribute this, I contribute more than that one, I contribute more than that one. It doesn't matter. The whole piece of machinery will fall apart with one little piece of plastic. My weed whacker, one little piece of plastic, and the whole weed whacker's down. Crazy. Play the other one too, right quick. Just for funs. Don't look at the death, look at the circumstances.
Oh, shit.
She knows what she has to contribute.
Why did you bring him back to the city?
The port is abandoned. There's a weapon here that can kill it.
Did you find the spear?
I've been a little busy.
This thing, this creature, seems to feed on energy.
This thing is from another world. My world.
I've killed things from other worlds before.
She with you?
I thought yours was you.
You can cut it now. Okay, so even in the throes of things, there are times when God does things in order. He does things in order. And people need to know when they're supposed to jump in, when they're not supposed to jump in, and function as a team. Well, I thought she was with you. I thought she was with you. But she found her tribe. And Batman was sure thankful, because otherwise he'd been fried. So the main thing we've got to remember is we've got to be servants. Can we do that? Can we use our gifts for good? Can we do that? Can we choose others over ourselves? Can we work as a team? Every single one of them, too, the last point is that every single one of them knew there was something greater for their gifts than themselves. And it was a calling that called them. It was a calling that called them. It wasn't just their little kingdom. There was a bigger picture, a bigger picture. They have to form together to do something bigger. If we want to do something here at Message of Life, we have to do it together. We have to do it together. And if people and it's interesting, there is a rhythm. If you watched any of that and paid attention, there's a rhythm to each one of them, how they work. I mean, she jumps just in the nick of time for this. He turns to Iron Man and says, "Can you give me a lift?" Because he can't get up there. He's not a flyer. And they immediately do it. They function together. There's so much that's being said here, and we see it and we're attracted by it, and our kids today are fascinated by it, and it's about time we showed them what the church can do. Because too many times the church has been out of rhythm. It's like, oh, this is a season of evangelism, and the church not even know it for 20 years afterwards. Oh, I didn't know that was a season of, I didn't know this was, they go back and they say, see, in the 70s there was great teaching. God did a huge movement of teaching. In the 80s, God did a huge movement of healing. And they go through all of this. And then you go back and you think, was our church doing that? Was our church doing that? Was our church doing that? So, on your little piece of paper, what are your gifts? What is it you have to offer? If you don't know who you are, how are you going to be part of the team? If you don't know what you have to offer, then how is somebody going to ask you or try to find it if you don't know what it is? It doesn't matter if it's fivefold ministry gifts, it doesn't matter if it's spiritual gifts, it doesn't matter if it's motivational gifts. You should know all your gifts, and you should know if they're functioning correctly or if you're red flagging on any of them. You should be able to just knock them off real quick. This. You should know. I mean, she didn't even think. She just threw up her arm. She didn't even think. She knew to do. This is the strength of the hand. It's the forearm. If you need help with that, spiritual gifts, there's word of knowledge, word of wisdom, discerning of spirits, miracles, healing, there's faith, there's prophecy, there's tongues, there's interpretation, there's all sorts of signs and wonders. Maybe you can make seas part. Maybe you're good at water walking. Maybe you're good at fishing. Maybe you're good at destroying the enemy's temples. Samson was the superhero, and that's what he did. He did destruction. He took down the enemy's stuff. Motivational gifts, prophecy, teaching, administration, giving, mercy and exhortation, service. What are your skills? What are your talents? They knew that Captain America had strategy in him. It was really amazing. The people that have strategy are really good coaches. The ones who don't have strategy, they can't see how the game is playing, and that's where they have trouble. Same with generals. General Patton had some incredible things going on. Now, have you written them down? Everything you can write? Everything you know? No? You're still working on it? Good. That's better because there's too many people that don't write down anything. Has anybody gotten one of Jerry Ostay's notes? Oh my goodness. That is anointed. Her writing is anointed. Has anyone ever gotten one of Diane's? Oh my goodness. It's anointed. Your skills, your talents, it could be money. There's some people that can see money and how to move it so it will gain wealth. Maybe innovation. What if it's music? What if it's math? Are you good at math? What about humor? What about writing? What about dictation? There was a gal, I went to another church and I went in the office and she was just going crazy on the typewriter, or it was computer, whatever it was at the time. Because I noticed the dictation machine. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, I can do this. I can do this for God. And it was amazing. She sat there and she was incredibly fast. She would and when she finished, she got up, made copies, collated them, stapled them together, went over and handed them the papers, she had dictated, she had transcribed, if you will, the whole message of what the pastor did that morning. She handed it over to this other lady, and the other lady went and took it to all the shut-ins in the nursing homes. Right then. Superpower. Nobody saw what she was doing. But she knew how to do dictation. Maybe it's cleaning. Maybe it's organizing. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's photography. Maybe you have a green thumb. There's a green lantern. What's wrong with a green thumb? Seriously, some of us, we can't even keep silk plants alive. How many say amen to that one? Yes. Maybe it's memory. Maybe it's details. Maybe whatever it is. But you should know what it is, and we should go for that. Does that make sense? Paul himself in Colossians 1:29 said, "For this purpose also I labor, striving according to his power, which mightily works in me." There is nothing wrong with saying, "I can do this. I am good at this." This is Paul. This is Paul, and he's saying, God works mightily through me in this area. If Paul says that, and we are to use him as an example, why can't we say it? I'm good at destroying gods. I mean, I love it. You know, when they said, well, this is from another world. And she goes, I've dealt with that before. I've dealt with that before. Let's deal with it again. Let's put are you hearing what I'm saying? I've dealt with that before. Do you understand we're dealing with things from not this world? All right. For this purpose, also I labor. I'm working hard. I'm a hard worker, striving according to his power, which is working mightily in me. Man, we should all memorize that one today. I mean, Jesus got up in the temple in Isaiah and said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me." Did he not? He did this. He got up, read the scripture. It's interesting because I bet anything he didn't read it. I bet anything he held it. All right? And then just started letting them know. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the afflicted. Is there anybody here afflicted today? Jesus is here. Oh, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. Man, I'm telling you, he got up and he said, this is who I am. You should be proud of who you are. You should be proud of what God is making you into. You know, he created man, but he formed Adam. He's forming you right now. And he's forming you into a superhero. Because we're unassuming. They're all unassuming too. Debra Green. Oh. Super B. Debra Green. Super B. Why not? Why not? So, the Lord said there's a lot stirring. Boys, if I get started into that stuff, it'll go crazy, but no. That's really for another time. But there is so much going on in the Spirit. And if there's ever been a time when there's a fascination, and it's God's trying to get our attention to say, the sons of man, the earth is waiting for the sons of God, because the sons of man have been roaming around. We've been running around the flesh. It's time for the sons of God to show up. All creation is groaning, waiting for the sons of God. Waiting for the sons of God. Are you hearing me? Waiting for us. We keep going, we're waiting for God to show up. We keep waiting for Jesus to show up. He should come at any time. We're waiting like we're at a bus stop. And God said, I'm waiting on you to start doing some stuff. We got to get some stuff done. Because I'm not, a bride doesn't just sit there and go, okay, he's just going to take me like this. A bride gets ready like crazy. Days and weeks and months and years ahead. Every girl, we are the bride of Christ. We are the church. Every woman in here knows that she had ideas of what her wedding was going to be like when she was 13, 14, 15, 16. Ooh, I want petunias. Ooh, I want this. I want that. I want to wear a crown. I want to wear ballet slippers. I want to. They've all been doing that. And the ones who've really waited, I've got a friend that has waited 30 years. She's getting married this summer. 30 years. 30 years. And I'm telling you what, this is the wedding of the year. I'm telling you what. I mean, there has not been anything withheld. Everything has been spot on. Every detail. Lace invitations. All wrapped in bows. Oh my gosh. All the finest paper. All the... He's the King of Kings, and he's coming back for a equal, a partner. He doesn't need a project. It says he's coming back for a bride without spot or wrinkle, not a damsel in distress. Seriously. I hate to say it, but I don't want to be the femme fatale. No. It's time we stood up and we started getting some things done. God had showed me a couple of weeks ago, he said, this needs to go. And I said, okay. And I'm like, I put it on my list. Don't you do that when your wife says, or your husband says, oh, this needs to happen? And so you put it on your list. I'll get to it. And so it's like, no, this needs to go. And I'm going, okay. And it's like, go now. And I'm like, go now? And so I said, how do we go now? He's telling me this yesterday. There was a lot of it last night, and then there was other stuff this morning. And he was talking about the passive-aggressive. He said, you tell people they better deal with that passive-aggressive thing. And people who love you, have them pointed out to you when you're that way, because you're destroying things anytime you get in as a group. And so anyhow, the Lord made it very clear. He said, this has got to go. He said, this has got to go. It's a distraction. It's the past. He said, right now, I am calling you. I am calling Message of Life to pray for your nation. Go to 1 Timothy 2. First of all, then, I urge that entreaties and prayers, petitions and thanksgiving be made on behalf of all men, but for kings and for all who are in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. That is good and acceptable in the sight of our Lord God Savior, who desires all men to be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. For there is but one God, one mediator, also between God and man, the man, Jesus Christ, who gave himself as a ransom for all, the testimony given at the proper time. For this I have been appointed a preacher, an apostle. I am telling you the truth. I am not lying, as a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and in truth. Therefore I want all men in every place to pray, lifting up holy hands without wrath and without dissension. And that's my favorite translation, just because it's New American. I really like New American. But in another translation it says, pray in this way for the kings and the leaders and all others who are in authority over you. Want me to read that again? Pray in this way for all kings and all leaders and all others who who are in authority over you. I want you to get the over you. Over you. That is not Israel. That is not Greece. That is not Finland. That is not Britain. That is not Belgium. It was a good thing. This was C. Peter Wagner's dream and vision, that we would start praying. There was the 40-70 window, and then there's a 10 other window. And that was all the other, that was on the other side here, and that was Muslim. It was all Muslim nations, and God said to take that down. We have to put up America. And God said, this is a distraction, all of us still praying with this. This has to come down. And I said, so, God, how we, and I said, okay, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. He says, no, it's time you worked as a team. And I went, that's when I'm like, those of us that are doers, okay, those of us that are doers, it's easier to just do. Is anyone else knowing when I say just get it done without having to worry about what anybody else is going to do, what they're going to think, or are you hearing what I'm saying? And I'm going, God, really? And he goes, really? And he said, this is what? He said, this needs to come down today. And when these flags come down, he said, every single person needs to be involved. There should be some nation that you are attracted to. I don't know, maybe, okay, so, but anyway, it doesn't make any difference. So say that Ron's here, I would know Ron would go. Italian cars or Germany or, you know, I mean, he has that just because of car racing and because of this, that, whatever. But we are to, this is what God told me to do. He said, we are to take those down. I'm going to have Ben pull the wire. We're going to go over there. We're going to let them come down. And then 2 people, there needs to be 2 people. We're going to work as a team. Can we do this? Just like Captain Rogers? All right, 2 people on each country. And we are going to call forth the intercessors of that country to come forward. We need to pass the baton on to them. We have poured into all these nations. We have. And now it's time for them to step up for their own nation because they need to pray for the leaders over them. It says here in the Bible, in Timothy, it says they need to raise up and pray for their nation. Does that make sense? All right? And then when we release that, we will take on the prayer for America like never before. We have got to pray for our nation because there is a huge division going on. There are people preparing for civil war. There are people preparing for civil war in Loveland. There are people preparing for war in Denver. And our state is a catalyst or a prototype state. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And we cannot let, oh, God made this very clear. Colorado, he said, Debra, pray Colorado. I said, all right. What do you want me to pray? He says that Denver is a city. It is not the state. It is not the state. You tell the city to stay in their boundaries. You tell that city to stay in their boundaries. It is not the state. The rest of us do not have to do and go the way Denver goes. He made it very clear. They have set the boundaries. This is where it needs to be. And I went, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So Ben, if you'll pull that thing, let's let it start dropping. So everybody's going to have to get up. Now when there's 2 of you on a thing,